Hi everyone, it's me, David, with High Performance Stoicism. Many of you study the theory of Stoicism. You're interested in the ideas. You want to find out more. Many of you use Stoic ideas to improve your lives in various ways. And many of you consider yourself practicing Stoics. Remember, Stoicism is a philosophy, so you have an interest in philosophy, but what is your interest in contemporary academic philosophy? What do you think of contemporary academic philosophy and in relation to Stoicism? I've been teaching in academic philosophy for a couple of decades. I've taught at several universities and taught things like logic, ethics, metaphysics, epistemology, history of ethics, you name it. So I just want to give you some idea of what I think the relation to academic philosophy to Stoicism could be. And here's a way of raising the question of academic philosophy in terms of what would Chrysippus think if he got in a time machine, we have to use that time machine, and brought him into the present day. And I'm pretty confident Chrysippus, the great Stoic theoretician, would totally love it. Why? Because so much is covered in academic philosophy today. So the history of philosophy is very thoroughly covered. And yes, I recognize the coverage that Plato gets, the coverage that Aristotle gets, it's much greater. And so that is an important topic, much greater than the coverage that Stoicism gets. But Chrysippus would be interested in contemporary philosophy. He'd be very interested in the advances in logic. He'd be interested in different kinds of proposals to explain what is a logical proof. He'd be interested in metalogic and various deviant logics, so-called, such as temporal logic and modal logic, because he was a logician. He'd be also interested in metaphysics. And the reason I say this is because, remember, Chrysippus did not just write Stoic theories for himself. He debated philosophers of other schools. He was interested in what they had to say, and he disagreed with them on many points, but he took seriously what they said. And today, here's one thing that he would love about it. Today, if he came up with a theory about, let's say, metaphysics, someone would point out to him, Chrysippus, there's someone who I think you would really love who has already written a series of papers on this. This is this professor's main theme or main approach. And then he would have at hand something that he's working on to get some more ideas, and he could make improvements and corrections possibly in what this other professor has written. Also, he would love the fact that if he puts a paper or a book online, he would be receiving criticisms pretty quickly, and substantive criticisms, not junky criticisms, not rhetorical criticisms, but real substantive problems that many people would see in the theory he's offering. And I do think that one result of Stoicism taking greater prominence in academic philosophy today is that one result would be we would understand it much better, but also if what is true for every other theory is true for Stoicism, we would find more problems in Stoicism. And Chrysippus woke up every morning and he tried to figure out, what are the problems with Stoicism? How can I improve it? And so he would be at home. But I'm not saying that Chrysippus would come to the present century and be totally on board with everything that's going on. Because guess what? If you think there are things that are lacking in contemporary philosophy, well, guess what? I've been thinking about them for quite a while. So here are a couple things that I think he would criticize. Number one, there's not enough attention to finding the foundations of the truth of the world. Too much attention is paid to smaller matters. In online and academic articles in philosophy today, we are trying to advance, we are trying to see what problems theories have, but there's not enough people that are taking the idea seriously of systematic philosophy. I want to find the truth from top to bottom. So those are two related problems he would find. Not enough attention to the foundations, not enough attention to systematic philosophy. And thirdly, and I know this is going to be one that most of you will agree with, there's not enough attention to a comprehensive philosophy of life. Tell me about the whole of reality. And number four, relatedly, what is the best philosophy by which to live? And yes, we have really good ideas about what makes sense in Aristotle, what doesn't, same for Plato and so forth, same for the Stoics, but there's not enough attention to the idea that being a philosopher means I want to find out the whole truth and I want to live my life, the whole of my life, in a way that is best, that is most rational and reflective of reality. So if you have those criticisms of philosophy, academic philosophy today, I agree with you 100%. But don't throw out the whole baby. There's a lot of great stuff there, and let me end with this final point. Yes, if you pick up a random article from this year in academic philosophy, you won't know what's going on. And it has nothing to do with your ability, it has nothing to do with your reasoning capabilities or even your reasoning skills. Maybe you've done a lot of logic. It has to do with the fact that over time, a conversation has accumulated, and as a result, there are a bunch of possible mistakes you could make. So when you go into reading a new article, most academic philosophers have a good sense of that background. They have a good sense of what kinds of things are mistakes, and sometimes the writing is done, okay, it's like walking through a minefield. I'm going to avoid that minefield, I'm going to avoid that minefield, and if I hit a mine, in practical terms, what that means is my paper just got rejected. So yes, I know that there are many things that someone who wants to know the whole truth and live by the whole truth about reality, these would be points of criticism, but I do think there's a lot of great stuff in there as well. So check it out, write a comment, send me an email, and let's talk about it. Have a great day. It's up to you, and what is also up to you is liking, subscribing, and checking out what I do below. We'll see you in the next video.